So Murray Hill guy yesterday posted on X and he said wife hunting, how many women in NYC qualify here, and he just put the age range and the politics. And this girl here says the real question is, why are you paying for Hinge? Because you pay, you're able to set the filters for the exact kind of types of girls you're looking for. And so she says this, and let's dive into why are you paying for Hinge? And we'll take it as a legitimate question because we all know that there is a stigma for paying for dating apps. It looks desperate, but in reality, if you're going to use them, you may as well optimize them, which is what we'll talk about right now. So, post that I made is women like this don't get why dudes pay for premium on dating apps like Hinge. It's very simple. Women are on the supply side of the dating market. I should probably make a graphic. I'll probably make a graphic and post it on X soon. Women are on the supply side of the dating market. Economics 101, supply and demand. They have endless options flooding in with nearly every guy liking their profile if they're above a 4 out of 10. So in other words, they have to filter guys, the demand side, out. And this is not just me pulling this out of my ass. First of all, it's just common sense. Second of all, it's per Briffault's law, which basically means women decide who gets sex and like who gets access to sex and when relationships kick off. A lot of guys say the thing that sounds good, but it's really just cope. It's women control access to sex, men control access to relationships. Not exactly. Women at the end of the day are the ones that get to decide when things happen and when they don't. So that's why it's against the nature of seduction and proper relationships for you to seek out relationships with women. It's better to look for hoes and then they just kind of pursue you for commitment if that's what they want, and then you get to decide, and that way you're deciding. But at the core, first principles, they're deciding because they're the ones that are filtering in the beginning stages and convincing themselves of your value. So let's talk about this. Women only associate, per Briffault's law, with men when there's a clear benefit to them. Time and energy are her constraints, which is why she filters. So like in theory, obviously, if a girl had an infinite amount of time, then and energy kind of go hand in hand here, then she could theoretically date or entertain every guy. But that's not possible because it's a constraint. And again, like we said, and for men, we're on the demand side. So with that being said, we have to position ourselves ahead of the pack to be seen. And all this to say, paying buys you first mover advantage in two ways, two main ways. Your profile shows up first when they're scrolling, when the girls are scrolling, because you paid for eyeballs on your profile. This is similar to a business buying traffic to their website through advertising on social media. When you see, or when you like a girl, you jump to the top of her stack before you get buried in the sea of thirsty simps. So let's break this down. It's, what is it today? August 20th. So a lot of girls are starting to get back in town if you live in a college area, big city, for college. When new chicks hit the area or join the app, your profile shows up first because that's what you're paying for when you purchase the premium versions of these apps. You jump to the front of the line when they're scrolling. And this is like a business buying traffic to their website through advertising on social media. So there's two ways you can do it. Organically, in talking about business buying traffic. Organically meaning similar to like an X post like this, just posting for free on X, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. And there's the paid way where, you can go into like right over here. It would probably be in, well, there's a way to purchase advertising based on X. And in that kind of way, you're paying for advertising for eyeballs, for impressions to your profile, for cost, but you're guaranteed to see a certain amount. So like organic or not paying is the slow way. It's the unoptimal way, but some people have to do it because the resources are limited. Paying speeds up that process. In the same way, when you like a girl, so when she's scrolling, she sees you first because that's what premium does. And when you like a girl's profile, you jump to the top of her stack before you get buried in the sea of thirsty simps. I'm sure we've all seen this this thing where, a girl that's even a very average makes a profile on dating app and, she gets a ton of likes. Well, if you're not paying, then you're going to be buried in those likes. So she may like you, but she's never going to see you. So it's kind of like the old saying goes, if nobody knows your product exists, it doesn't matter how good it is because, well, if you're keeping it locked in a basement or something, they're never going to find it. So all this to say, dating's a numbers game. Like Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger say, time in the market beats timing it. That's why we say run volume, look for hoes, fulfill your biological imperative. And in turn, when you do that enough times, if you want to, say, meet a girlfriend, it's not going to come from you looking for it. It's going to come when you least expect it. It's going to come when you're running volume and doing things that are in your own best interest. That's why we say time beats timing it. You can't time it. Timing it's like trying to go out there and look for exactly something like what you're looking for, like a girlfriend to check off box. That's the bad way to approach it. And also, ignore noise from chicks who have never seduced a single woman in their entire life like this girl. Girls don't need to pay for it. Now, I actually do know one of my exes a year or two ago did pay for Hinge because I was looking at her phone one time and she was going through her subscriptions on her phone and she was like, I was actually pretty surprised. Like she paid for a week of Hinge or something. But for the most part, most of the time guys are paying for it because it's just the nature of the economy. Women are the supply, men are the demand, women are filtering, men need to pay to show up, to give them an opportunity to even filter them out because most guys are filtering themselves out by not even, the girl not even seeing them. And focus on volume and position yourself as the prize she's inspired to chase. Now, let's talk about some comments here. This guy says, decent point. Also, the algorithm is shit, probably on purpose. And like I said, create the problem, solve the solution. That's what a lot of these are doing. This guy says, dating apps are ass in general. Good luck competing with girls who get 2,000 men in 24 hours, LOL. And that's a losing mentality. Women aren't your competition. If you're competing, regardless, men or women, if you have the competing mentality, you're already losing. And then he says, good luck standing out because he's super butthurt or something. If you're competing, you're losing. If you're trying to stand out because you think you have to stand out because you are, not good enough in your head, then you're already losing. It's either dominate or you lose. There's no competing. And also, it's a little bit sus saying, competing with girls. Why are you trying to compete with girls? You're competing with girls for guys? Doesn't even make sense. So they're not your competition. This guy says if you have to pay for premium on Hinge, then you shouldn't be on Hinge. Just misses the point entirely. Goes right over his head. It's just not true. Sure, you can get results for free. Everything has a cost though. Free things have a cost. The cost is your time and energy and neutering yourself basically because you're only able to like a handful of profiles, and even the profiles you do like, you're not even as likely for them to see you. So what's the point? Now, like this guy says, and we'll talk about this post too. Dating apps are for incels and losers. If you're a successful guy and somewhat somewhat in shape, the bar is so low for men it's laughable. And good point here from one of my followers. He says, "Do you even know what incels mean?" And so let's talk about a couple of posts here. So like Jay responded here, only guys who are unsuccessful in dating apps say shit like this. And I responded to this post and I say, and it's just the guy hating on it. I will never understand why guys hate on dating apps when they're just another lead source. That's like a bunch of customers for your business, going back to the business analogy, are locked inside an app. All you have to do is sign up for the app, present your offer to the market, and boom, new business rolls in. You'd miss out on that business from those customers on that specific app completely if you discriminated based on where your business comes from. Like the guy says, if you're a successful guy and somewhat in shape, then why don't you have a dating profile optimized funneling hot local chicks who are raising their hands saying, I'm ready, straight to your doorstep? About half of couples meet through dating apps these days. This isn't just some thing I'm pulling up on my ass. This is literally research from relatively recently, 2023. So it's probably even more now because the world's getting even more digital, from Forbes. So the kinds of girls you'll meet in the wild likely have or had dating profiles anyway. So you're already living in that world. There's no escaping it. Look at this. overall 44.9% of people meeting dates or on dating apps. And we'll just look at the 18 to 26 and 27 through 42 because that's most of who's watching this stuff and actually, getting edges and stuff in this market. It's even higher on average. Look, 78, whatever, that's the least amount. But on average, look at this. And if you count social media in this 26.52% plus, that's basically over 70% of dates, no matter the age, are coming from either dating apps or social media. So this is the world we live in. And again, this guy responded back and he says, sure, you can use them as one piece of the puzzle funnel, but if you knew how much women chase men they were interested in, you would never chase them again. And he's basically saying, posting a thing about on dating apps, never like a woman first. If you knew how much a woman chased a man she was interested in, you would never chase them again. And like I said, who said you have to chase them? When you build your profile properly, girls chase you. That's the entire point. It's just a lead mechanism. So, and then he's saying, good, we're in agreement, whatever. But the point is, why are you hating on a lead source? It's literally just a lead source. It's a tool. It's like somebody hating on a construction guy for using a hammer. Why are you hating on that? Why are you so against it? Why are you on an anonymous profile trying to hate on something unless you are just doing that because it's not working out for you like you should? So food for thought there. And like this guy says, I'm too lazy to bother. Well, in that case, it doesn't really matter. I mean, it doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect anybody. If you're too lazy to bother, you're too lazy to use a tool. It doesn't really affect me. I'm just here middlemaning this information from Forbes and about dating apps. So that's the post about paying for dating apps and essentially the market overview. I will leave a link to my X account in the description. You can look out for that market kind of supply demand curve so you can visualize it. I'll be making that soon. And other than that, if you have any questions you want to ask me, link to my WAPs in the description. Also have my texting scripts in there and VIP help for like updating your dating profile and getting it kind of up to speed. You can see some of what the guys say about that also in that link. But other than that, I will see you in the next video. Peace.